Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to your preview for the Leeds United vs Preston game. We are back at home. We are back at Elland Road. Make sure you like the video if you enjoy, subscribe if you are new, and leave a comment down below. Let me know your score prediction for this match against Preston. Now let's get into it and start where we always do, the last 6 games against Preston. Because I don't think this is going to be an easy game. Because I think Preston are the type of team that we kind of struggle against. They're the type of team we would struggle against. But in the last 6 games, the last time we did play them was a 1-1 draw. We got a 1-1 draw this season. We got a 2-1 win, a 2-1 loss, a 1-1 draw, a 1-1 draw, and a 2-0 win. So in the last 6 games, Leeds United have won 2. There's been 3 draws in there, and there has been 1 win for Preston. So we got the advantage going into the last 6 games. We got the advantage also drawing the last game this season. So this season was a draw. So that's another thing you can look at. Now, you can go look at form, which is something we're also going to look at. We're going to start by looking at form. Of course, we've won 2 out of the last 6. It's not great, but it's 2 wins, 3 draws, and a loss. Of course, our loss came against Portsmouth. We beat Millwall, and we beat Middlesbrough in our last game. And all the draws came against QPR, Swansea, and Luton. So that's our last 6 results, where you got Preston, who in their last 6 games have lost 2, drawn 3, and won 1. They drew with Sunderland, which is it's a good point. They drew with Sunderland away, which is probably a really good point, actually. Probably a really good point to the team that's 4th. They then were able to beat Portsmouth 2-1. They then lost to Villa in the cup, which it's all right. They lost 3-0 to Villa in the cup. They then lost to Derby County 2-0. And then in their last 2 games, they drew 1-1 with Stoke and they drew 2-2 with Cardiff. So that's their last 6 games. And if you go down and look at this, they are 16th in the league, with 10 wins, 19 draws, and 12 losses. Meanwhile, we are, of course, in first, back top of the league, on 24 wins, 13 draws, and 4 losses. So, yeah, going into their weaknesses and what we can go at with Preston. Preston's weaknesses going in, their strengths. Let's start with their strengths. Their strength are counter-attacks, creating chances using through balls and aerial duels. So they're basically a team that's going to sit back against us, especially that it is at Elland Road. Even if it was at their place, they probably do the same thing. They're going to sit back and then just try and play balls over the top, basically, and try and win flick-ons, basically, to get in behind us, which can be deadly against us because you say that we've had certain games, especially in recent times, where we've kind of played to the other team's strength instead of playing our own game. There's been a couple of games where we've started to just put balls over the top, which I don't want to see in games like this, especially when we're not probably going to win most of our aerial duels, especially when you look at the last game and Joel Pirro had 5 aerial duels and lost every single one of them. So I don't want to see it just trying to lump it forward to the striker at all unless someone else is starting, which we'll get into a bit later. But Preston's weaknesses and where we can get at them, they're weak at keeping possession of the ball, finishing scoring chances, protecting a lead, avoiding fouls in dangerous areas. I mean, that's not really going to mean anything because our set pieces aren't great, are they? They're very weak. So their weak stuff is keeping possession, finishing chances, and protecting the lead. That's their weak. Their very weak stuff is avoiding fouling in dangerous areas. But we don't really have a good free kick taker. The only person that would take free kicks in the team is, Gruev. And I just don't think we're going to score from a set piece. So they can do that all day and we probably won't score from one. And defending against long shots, again, you look at both of those things where they're very weak at. We don't take a lot of long shots either. We try and not walk it into the goal. It's not so walk it into the goal, but we don't really play long shots. You don't really see many long shots. The only players that actually really take long shots in this team are probably, if I look at the team, it's probably Tanaka. And that's probably about it. It's legit. I'm pretty sure it's probably Tanaka, and that's about it. He's like the only player that will take a long shot. Maybe Bamford if he's on the pitch. I mean, he'll just have a go sometimes, especially he'll just have a go sometimes. But I'm looking at the rest of them, and I don't see them taking long shots. Oh, Dan James does. Dan James is the whole cut in and hit it. So Dan James, yeah. I want to see that more from Solomon, to be honest, because I think Solomon's got a good, he's got a great shot on him. I remember a couple of years ago when we played him in the cup, and he bent that in the top in the corner. But yeah, I think Solomon needs to do that more. Just take your man on and beat him. I thought he had a good performance against Middlesbrough, but I want to see him just take his man on more. Because I think he's just miles ahead of all of them in levels. So going into this game, how do I think we will line up? I think Darlow, of course, will stay in goal. I mean, that's not going to change for the rest of the season. So we're going to have Carl Darlow in goal. The right back is going to be Jaden Bogle, of course. Then you're going to have Rodon and Ampadu in the centre back pairing. You're going to have that Welsh triangle with Darlow, Rodon, and Ampadu. We're going to have Furpo at left back, and then we're going to keep the same midfield too, I reckon, of Grev and Tanaka, because there's legit no one else to play in those positions. So there's a bit of a worry if we do pick up an injury in midfield, because then you're going to have to put Ampadu forward and play Vober at centre back. And that's like a worry for me, because I don't know if Vober is going to be good enough for the run in. Like, just saying, because he's coming back from an injury. You then have the three in front of the three attackers, of course, in behind the striker. So going into this game, we find out now probably that Dan James is going to be out. See, I don't know yet, because of course the press conference isn't until tomorrow. But Dan James is probably not going to be available for this game after he went off injured after the Middlesbrough game, or during the Middlesbrough game. But yeah, so he's not going to be available. I think Solomon keeps his spot on the left, because I thought he had a good performance, got the assist, should have had 2 assists, with the Tanaka goal. So I think Solomon stays there on the left. I think Aronson keeps his place in the 10. I know a lot of people criticize his performances, and there's some people that said he was bad against Middlesbrough, but for me, I actually think he actually played well against Middlesbrough. He just does a lot of running that you do not have from Nonto. You don't get from players like Nonto. If you got to put him in the 10, he doesn't run as much as Aronson does, and Aronson does a lot of tracking back and a lot of things that go like unnoticed. I'd say it's a lot of like the unnoticed things that he does very well, that if he's not in the team, you will notice it more. But when he's in the team, it's basically something you don't notice until they're out of the team, which, it's something that we've had with Bamford for a long time as well. And then on the right now, who's going to start on the right? Nonto, Ramazani, or maybe even Schmidt, who came off the bench in the last 2 games on the wing and has actually probably done good performances off the bench. But I think Schmidt is going to be kept as a bench option. And I know in the thumbnail I've got Ramazani there. I do think it'll be Nonto, but I wouldn't mind Ramazani. For me, I don't care either. If you choose Ramazani, I'm happy. If you choose Nonto, I'm happy. If you choose Schmidt, I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that. I'm fine with either of the 3, especially after Schmidt's recent performances. Hey, does he warrant a start since Dan James is out? Does he warrant a start after coming off the bench on the wing and playing well in the last 2 games? You could say maybe he does, but I wouldn't mind either of them. I think it will be Nonto, though, so I'm just going to say Nonto because I do think that's what we're going to go with. And then in the striker position, I would play Bamford if he could play a full 90, but just coming back from injury, I don't think he'll be able to play the full 90. So I'd start Pirro. If you can get 45 minutes out of Bamford, I'd bring him on at halftime. I know Fark doesn't normally do that with substitutions, but if he can play 45, get him on a halftime, because he was absolutely brilliant against Middlesbrough. That 17-minute cameo, just 17 minutes, was better than I've seen from Pirro in the last 6 games. He was world class. That was a world class performance. And hopefully Bamford can get a goal, because he got robbed of a goal against Middlesbrough. I mean, it'll be fun. It'll be more fun to get his goal at Ellen Road, wouldn't it? So hopefully he does. I could see a game like this fitting a player like Bamford with his hold-up play, winning headers, actually being good in the air and being able to hold players off. And like Darlow, the one thing I'll say about Darlow, his distribution isn't as good as Melies, but he has a longer kick on him when he smashes it forward. So if you have Bamford up front, if you have Bamford up there, I trust him more. He's better at Bamford is better at getting the ball and holding it up and bringing it down from the sky, basically from a keeper like Darlow's long balls. So if Bamford comes on the pitch, that's what I think I will be looking for. Long balls over to Bamford to try and hold him up and then bring the others into play like he does very well. And I think that's what I want to see. But as I said, I don't think Bamford will start, even though Pirro's been poor for me in the last 7 games. I think it's been now, and he has 1 GNA in 8. So yeah, he's been very poor, Pirro. But he's just one of those players where if the ball drops to him, he's probably going to score. But then you say that, I mean, he hasn't done that recently at all. So yeah, if Bamford could play the full 90, he would definitely start for me. But I don't think he can. I don't think he can physically play the full 90. We don't want him to break down because we need him. We need him in the run-in. So it'd be good if he can get 45 minutes off the bench, if we can come on at halftime. At least 30 minutes. He had 17 against Middlesbrough, so at least 30 minutes. So yeah, going into this game, I'm going to give a score prediction. I'm going to say we're going to win this game 2-0. I think we're going to win 2-0. Goal scorers, I think Solomon gets a goal. I'm going to say I think Solomon gets a goal. And after being robbed against Middlesbrough, I think Patrick Bamford gets a goal and we win this game 2-0. If you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as I said, leave a comment on your score prediction in the comments down below. Any thoughts on the lineup and who do you think is going to start in certain positions? And I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.